Okay, so can you hear Miss Rachel in the background? First question, Nick wants to know. Because, well, we're not hearing Angelo screaming. That's because Miss Rachel's playing. So can you hear the background at all? Tell me in the chat. Nope. Okay, no, we're good. Okay, so hello. I am pumped for this because these doughs are, if you've been with me for a while now, you have seen me make these time and time again. They're my tried and true recipes. They are super easy to throw together. And they, as you'll see with a lot of the recipes I give you guys, they're a good base to modify and make into a bunch of different things. So tonight, I'm actually going to show you guys, we're going to use up some of our leftover steak, and I'll show you one of the dinners that I make using a dough it takes like 10 minutes to throw together, not even. And then I'll also show you our microwave bread, which can also be used in a sweet capacity if you like flavor it that way. So I'll go over everything with you guys. I will provide you with these recipes. They're in the page, but I'll post them again for you together. And then I'll give you a little background info on how this quote unquote hormone friendly baking, at least in CCA's capacity, how it works. We'll talk about different textures and we'll get into it. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, first thing, I want to know who here is intimidated by baking anything. Put a 1 in the chat if you are intimidated by baking. We got an 11. So we have a bunch of ones. Yeah, that's why I wanted to do this topic. Originally, I was going to close out and, just do our final thing, but I feel like this is important and it's a big staple. So one's coming in. So baking is intimidating. And I can't tell you, like I went to culinary school for baking, all different types of pastries, bread, that kind of stuff. And when I would tell people that, the usual response is, oh my God, I could never do baking. I could do the cooking and culinary, but I don't like the precise measurements of baking. And it doesn't have to be as precise as everybody thinks, as long as you know kind of like what the interaction is between the ingredients. You can also then start to think about how you can modify them for this kind of stuff. That's honestly why I went to culinary school. Originally I wanted to open up a bakery that did dietary breads and pastries and stuff like that for, little kids like me who grew up without being able to have a birthday cake. I wanted to be able to offer that. So I went into culinary school with the desire of learning kind of the science behind everything so that I could make my own. And these recipes I'm going to give you today, they're based off of that, but they're also really easy. Because if you know me, my intention is for everything to be easy. I'm not trying to sit here and struggle. So, okay, let's get into it. What should I do first? I'll make our dinner. Okay, so the only dough. I'm going to put this in the chat here. You guys don't work with me for my Zoom capabilities, okay? So just bear with me. So only dough. It's really easy. 2 cups almond. What the fuck did I type? 2 cups almond flour. 3/4 cup. Oh wait, no. It's 2 cups mutz. Shredded mozzarella. 3/4 of a cup of almond flour. I'm typing this while it's on this little platform here and it's not going well. And 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Does anybody know what xanthan gum is? You might have seen it on stuff. Oh my God, why can't I spell xanthan?
That's the thing that helps things like fluff up, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what am I typing? Okay, so xanthan gum is, it basically, in gluten-free baking, it acts as the binder ingredient. So when we're doing hormone-friendly recipes, that means gluten-free in the CCA community if we're starting from scratch. Because I'm like, why have multiple types of recipes? If we're gonna have one recipe that's good and it's suitable for people who are low carb, who are gluten-free, right? So when you remove gluten, you remove the structure from a final baked good product. Gluten is actually the protein in the flour that when you combine it with with liquid and agitation, like mixing it, kneading it, stuff like that, it forms a tight bond. That tight bond is what gives you your texture. The more you mix it, agitate it, knead it, whatever, the tighter that bond forms, and then the harder the final product is. So if you notice cake that has flour in it, right, has gluten in it, they tell you to mix it lightly. Don't over mix it because it's going to become tough. But at the same time, do you see how they work the hell out of like pizza dough and pasta and stuff like that? And that has a very chewy or a crusty kind of texture, and that's from a lot of gluten in it. So when you take the gluten out of a baked good, you are removing a large pretty much all of the texture maintaining and emulsifying properties of that product. A way to duplicate that is by having xanthan gum. This replaces that kind of elasticity that gluten provides in a product. So we're going to use xanthan gum for this. And then there are other things too that help with keep giving that elasticity, like, you know, eggs help a lot with that. If you have any dairy, dietary modifications, whether it's eggs or dairy or whatever, if you can't have those, I'll give you a different recipe. They're convertible, just a couple different steps. Okay. But typically eggs, because the protein when you cook eggs is very strong, those will be used in gluten-free baking. I'm trying to see what else do I have here. Cheeses are used in this a lot. And there are a lot of other emulsifiers, but xanthan gum is what you're going to see most commonly. And you might be a little like sticker shocked by the bag because it's like what, $10 to $12 per bag, but I have had this forever. Like you only use a half a teaspoon at a time. So you don't have to be buying this all the time. It's a good investment. Okay. So got your recipe there. So it's just a half a teaspoon of this xanthan gum here. Can't see. All right. And make sure you send me your questions as you're watching. I want to make sure I'm not boring you to death. Okay, so we got half a teaspoon of xanthan gum in the bowl. Now we need 3/4 of a cup of almond flour. Do we double the recipe for dinner? I don't remember. Ignore me, I'm asking Nick. No, so for that, okay, cool. I'm actually making dinner, so to make sure I make enough. Okay, so we got 3/4 going in here. You see, it does not have to be exact. Like I'm not sitting there and scraping it off. I've even, when I know I'm gonna have a busy week, I've even portioned the dry ingredients and the cheese in like a sandwich bag and kept it in the fridge so that I can just dump it and be done with it. So very easy to make your life simpler with this. Then we're gonna do 2 cups of shredded mutz. You can also, I've like taken some of the cheese out and like used cheddar instead, or pepper jack if you want a different flavor. It might change how dense the final dough comes out, but it's still really good. And for dairy-free, you would just use a dairy-free cheese, shredded cheese for this. I've used Daya before with this. I don't really like Daya, like unless I'm melting the absolute shit out of it, if we're being honest, which it does really well with this. It's like very crispy. So that's it. And it is egg-free. So we got our almond flour, our xanthan, our shredded mutz. All right, it's all loose and, you know, it's all crumbly and gross looking, right? So I'm going to microwave this for 30 seconds. So that's going. I need a recipe for gluten-free 1-on-1 flour. Okay, so I have this written down to discuss. The problem with converting 1-to-1 flour with these recipes, I'm not sure how much to use because it has so many other components to it, right? Like this is pretty simple. It's just the cheese, the almond flour, the xanthan. So those ratios go together well. You would have to probably do a little bit of trial and error and maybe make like some smaller batches. And based on that, I have it written here to troubleshoot food. So if you make something and it's too dry, you want to add more fat to it, right? If you make something and it doesn't stick together, you would add more xanthan gum to it. So there are a lot of different things you would do to get the ideal texture you're looking for. And I'm not sure how to portion that out with the flour you have. So you'd probably be better off making smaller batches until you get to that texture that you really like. In terms of switching out the Colby Jack, it's the same measurement. It's just a different cheese. So that's fine to use the same amount. Okay. So I microwaved. It's a little bit meltier, but nothing groundbreaking. So we're just going to give it a stir. Back it goes. We're going to do that until a dough ball forms. So yeah, 1-to-1 flours are great. Meaning for anybody else who's watched, 1-to-1 flours are basically like a gluten-free replacement for regular flour where it's the same ratio. Like you can use the same as a regular recipe says. But it's a little bit different when you're baking with like cheese and xanthan as the emulsifier. Also, I tend to not use it as much because it can be higher in carb, because usually it's rice flours or potato starches and stuff like that to duplicate the structural integrity of the flour. So it's tricky. It's definitely tricky. Okay, let me see. See, it's coming together. Okay, this is probably going to go in for one more time. That's literally it. When it comes out, I'm gonna roll it out, my counter. I'm gonna put some leftover steak and some dried onions and stuff on there. This is the leftover steak. So what we like to do is we like to get London broiled because it's a relatively inexpensive cut. We'll get a big piece of London broil for a pretty good deal. We'll make it the first night. I think I said this on was it the second episode of Kitchen Confidence about salt brining a steak? So what we do is we cover it in coarse salt, let it like come to room temp and sit out for a bit, and then we grill it. And then like last night, we cut half and had sliced steak for dinner. And then the rest of it, you want to chop up until it's like very small. Like I don't know, that's a little bit big for feeding a baby, but like you're feeding a baby, right? Because you don't want to like have to chew on it in this roll up. You want to kind of like have it be where every bite is like a complete bite. I talked about that too in one of I think it was the techniques video. I'm pretty sure I talked about the shape of stuff. And that's another example of that. So cut your meat really tiny so you don't really have to like bite into it and break it down. And you see how, wish you could see, can you see the steam coming off of this? It's very, very hot, which is good. Nice and melty, nice and doughy. Okay. So just have some non-stick. Spray my surface. Oh, shit. Don't break the counters. Got that. No. If you're like skeeved out we cleaned this right before the Zoom, but if you're skeeved out, and you're like, I don't want to put that on my countertop, just use parchment paper. See how that stretches? It's not just the cheese. It would just fall apart if that were the case. So I'm gonna take my steak. Some bigger pieces got through. Ignore that. Continuity issues. Take it up with our QC department, which is Nick. I'm not talking shit. It's constructive criticism. Okay. So I'm obsessed with these. If you can get, these are like dehydrated onions. If you've this is in the everything with the bagel seasoning typically. I freaking love it. I love the crunch when you put it on something fresh like a salad. I love it when you cook it into stuff like this. It's really easy. So I'm going to take this and sprinkle this around. And I just want to remind everyone that I made this dough in like 2 minutes, like not even. What was that, 30 seconds? And I did it like 4 times. So, and here we are. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of my sesame oil. I'm gonna take a little bit of my garlic salt. This is stuff you've seen me use on pretty much everything I eat. I love it. I just kind of alternate how I use them. I'm trying not to use too much of this because she is potent. If you've never tried Laurie's garlic salt, potent in the best way. All right, and now I'm not great at rolling this up, I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna try here. I should have, okay. But basically, oh wait, I put more cheese. I forgot. There's a binder. You guys are like, oh my God, how much cheese? I don't eat this entire thing in a sitting. Nick and I both split this and usually have a couple pieces left over for lunch tomorrow. So usually this is something we eat in addition to other things. But this dough is so convertible. Like you can use it, you could order a burger takeout. And by the time, not even by the time it gets there, you have to wait till it's 10 minutes away and make the dough and then like cook it in the oven real quick when it comes to you. And make like a little burger stromboli or something. Okay. So far, so good, fam. So far, so good. It's a little chonky on the ends, but you know. Okay. Oh, gotta fix that. I tried to fold the ends in. Right. Dinner. Nice little steak roll up. I'm gonna put a little bit of the garlic salt on top again. Oh, see, I get too heavy-handed. And then she ready, okay? So that's that. Let's see, how far in are we? Okay, like 20 minutes and I've been like yapping, right? And that's the hardest one. So tell me in the chat, thoughts. I want to hear. I need your kitchen. Those count. Ooh, thank you. I love my kitchen. I love this kitchen. It was an absolute nightmare when we walked into this house. So I love the compliments. While it looks good, I can't wait to try. Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's honestly, it's just so easy. You make anything in it, anything. I've done pizza in it with it. I made it into crackers. I've made it into a cinnamon roll up. I've made it. Oh my God. I've done calzones with like ham and ricotta cheese or feta and tomato in there. I've done gyro pockets, or kills me to say it gyro, but like gyro, if we're being sticklers here. Yeah, super convertible. What? Chicken parms. We're a big fan of chicken parm in this house. Okay, so we're gonna shift over to microwave dough bread. I'm gonna make double the recipe. because I want a lot and I want some for tomorrow to make my life easy. So super easy, also convertible to make into cake. You would just add sweetener and some kind of flavor to it, like cocoa powder or coffee or whatever it is that you want to do, right? So this is the base recipe. Don't get freaked out by how much fat is in it because I do use oil. But I thought Nick was bringing the baby over here. I got excited. He's behind the screen. Maybe are you guys going to bring him to bed now? You guys want to see him? Let me pause the recording. Okay, and we're back. So for those watching the recording, we got 2 eggs. What else we got in here? Almond flour. All right, we got 6 tablespoons of almond flour. I actually have a custom order this weekend for a smash cake for someone for their babies, and I can't use any sugar or any sweetener at all. So that's going to be interesting. I'll keep you guys posted on what I do. What the hell was that? That was 2, right? Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6. At this hour with my medication gone, I thought I could count and talk to you guys, but you know, it is what it is. Baking powder. Okay. How cute. I got like my father-in-law was all excited to bring a like little packets like this of baking powder for some reason, and I couldn't figure out why he was so excited about it until I realized that our baking powder was freaking gross and crusted over. How cute is that? Who brought these? Okay. Here we got half a teaspoon, but we're going to double it. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon. The rare occurrence, I will outwardly give my father-in-law a compliment. I'd much rather ball bust. So, okay. 1 tablespoon baking powder in there. And then, where's my oil? No, that's olive oil. That's expensive. Okay. We're using some avocado oil. You can use melted butter for this, ghee, your oil of choice, whatever. I'm gonna do 3 because we're doubling it. This will keep this from turning into a dry briquette. That's what I was saying before, is like when you make something that's gluten-free or low carb or whatever, that's what we're always working against. Dry ass, crumbly, miserable product that everyone hates and doesn't want to eat. Right? I'm gonna add some everything but the bagel seasoning. I'm gonna add more of these dried onions. Just a smidge. Just a smidge, pretending I don't have high blood pressure. Thanks, Angelo. Okay. I'm gonna get a fork to mix this. Mix, mix, mix. So again, this is dumping some ingredients in a bowl, a microwave safe bowl. Mix, mix. Sure, it's all incorporated. Scrape the sides down. And we're gonna microwave this. So I'm gonna microwave it for 1.5 minutes because that's how long you should microwave it. Well, I did double the batch. I'm gonna microwave it for 1.5 minutes and see what we're working with. We might have to double the time as well, but I didn't think about that till right now. I usually just put myself one. That's it. That's it. So I will show you guys, obviously I'll show you guys the final product. These can be easily swapped out. I will post the recipes. Again, I'll bump them up to the top. Make sure I got all my notes covered here. Yeah, basically covered all my notes here. So yeah, to duplicate chew, again, to have that texture, that chewiness and flexibility. Xanthan gum, cheese, eggs, those are usually the things that are used. Gluten-free flour is good, the cup for cup, but I would use that more in recipes that call for regular flour already, because it's hard to gauge the ratio of what's what when you're converting a recipe like this. And it might come out a little bit more dense and not what you want. So test around with that if you want to convert it with a gluten-free flour. And I can help you do that too, so text me. And then in terms of gluten-free flours that are lower carb, typically you'll see things made out of almond flour, coconut flour, lupin flour is another popular one. It's made from lupini beans. Be careful, my gastro friends in here that got like, you know, kind of finicky digestive systems. Sometimes lupini beans can be a little bit rough. Chickpea flour is a little high carb, to be honest, but you know, it's gluten-free. If almond flour leads to more of a drier texture, so it's usually better in savory capacities. And coconut flour is more of a moist, like cakey consistency. It absorbs a lot of liquid and it stays soft. So that's what you'll see in a lot of like gluten-free cake recipes or low carb cake recipes. You can also use a combination of both. I don't know. Did you guys enjoy this? Do you want more recipes? Would you want to see me do more of these kind of tutorials? Oh yeah, she needs another minute and a half.
It's super
So I'll
helpful.
totally do more if that would be helpful. I've just cooked dinner with you guys here because the smell's going on just from that microwave bread right now. Super helpful. Yay, my favorite. I love cooking with you guys. It's been a while. It smells so good. Any questions in terms of baking, cooking in general, gluten-free, low carb, leftovers? You need any help with recipes, ideas? I got like another, what, minute on here? I didn't put the dough in the oven. I got right to working. Thank you for reminding me. We ain't gonna eat dinner tonight. I'll send a picture when it's done. I don't want this up. I miss being able to just bake all day. That was my favorite. Culinary school was the shit. Think about it all the time. Any questions at all? All done. Okay. Holy shit, that's hot. Grab a towel when you pick it up. So, see, it takes the shape of whatever you put it into. So if you want to use like more of a square container and make it like bread slices, you can do that. It's really whatever container you microwave it in is the shape you're going to get. So you can either eat this as is. I like it spongy and kind of like, it's not doughy, it's spongy. It's very spongy. I like that for sopping up like salad dressings or soup or sauce, stuff like that. So freaking good. If you want it more crispy and kind of like closer to, I don't know what the hell it's closer to, like cornbread-ish almost, but not like, I don't know. Crisp on the outside and soft on the inside if you throw it in a pan. So if you slice this and put it in like a hot pan and toast it up a bit, it gets nice and crispy on the outside and it'll still stay soft on the inside. But I like it just like this. And getting my face steamed on over here. Butter instead of oil. Sure. Yeah, the original recipe actually calls for melted butter. I don't know, at some point I switched and started just using oil because I didn't have the time or patience to melt butter. So I was like, fat's a fat, it's good enough. But you could definitely use butter if you would like. I find with butter it's a little bit more rich. So I like to do that if I'm making like my microwave cakes and stuff. So yeah, that's it, guys. When it comes to troubleshooting your baked goods, the biggest thing I want to say before I let you go is don't get discouraged. Don't make foods. I know it takes a lot to try and make foods that are different than your usual go-tos, right? You're making your own breads, your own cakes. So the stakes are really high and you really want it to turn out well. However, don't pin it all on one attempt. There are so many things that if I only relied on the first time I made it, you would never have these recipes. Point in case. These had to be tweaked and worked with. You might see things that are similar, like what fathead dough or 90-second bread, but these are different for different things. So the quantities of the amounts, the ingredient amounts that are in them, I can't think of the word, are different. You know, there's subtle tweaks because I tried it and I'm like, this is dry, or this doesn't have enough stretch, you know? So all of that was done by trial and error. So don't be nervous that if you make something once and you're not a huge fan, try to really pay attention to what you're not a fan of. Write it down if you need to. Is it the texture? Like, is it too chewy? Does it crumble apart? Does it taste off? Is it bland? I mentioned this on the flavor video the other week. You know, but really take note of what it is you don't like about it, because then I can help you troubleshoot it and we can perfect that recipe based on your tastes and go from there. You're never stuck. So I know it's really hard, but don't give up. Keep on trying, and I am here to support you. So please let me know. I'd rather do this kind of stuff and talk about food and stuff. It's my favorite thing to talk about. So let me know how I can help you. And I hope you guys make this, and I hope you enjoy and have a great rest of your night. Okay. Bye.